overconsumption, apathy, licentiousness. These are a few of the many adjectives that I would use to describe this epic. In this modern age, we are laden and wrought with many, many different conditions and broadcasts on how to live. In this series, I, Somer del Piso, will seek to unveil and analyze these different parts of life. This is the Pitfalls of the Modern World, and I'm your host, Somer del Piso. Let's get into it. What's going on, you guys? Somer del Piso back once again with yet another video. Of course, in this wonderful series that I just started, Pitfalls of the Modern World. So, like, comment, subscribe, and let's get back into it. By the way, I want to know how you guys feel about the intro. The intro is pretty epic, so leave your comments in the comment section below. I just want to know what you guys think. I thought it would be pretty cool, pretty edgy, very X-Files-ish. Today, let's just get right into the topic, man. I wanted to talk about something that's definitely not even, it's such a pitfall in the modern world that it's sort of interwoven in our cultures, in our traditions, in our behaviors, in the way that we interact with each other. The topic in question, or the topic under contention, is drinking alcohol, taking drugs. So in this society, it's very hard as adults, right? For many of the adults with their limited willpowers and vital energies and all that, mental energies, everything is lacking somehow. Even though they're healthy adults that run businesses, run families, and create things, right? For some reason, most adults can't interact with each other without the aid of alcohol, without the aid of some sort of drug. It's Friday, it's the weekend. We have to take some sort of drugs in order to enhance the enjoyment of this transient moment, this finite time with friends, right, that also, are under the same time stipulations, time crunch stipulations. Them, because it's not me. I'm on semen retention, and I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. I've been sober for 8 years. People always have to have some sort of beer in their hand. I just came from all the way down there to get some food, and these guys are like drinking and smoking and whatnot. Oh, viva Colombia! Que viva, que viva. Me gusta tu cora. ¿De dónde eres? ¿A qué parte? Con placer, sí, ciao. The individuals of this world is bound to these habits, these things. They can't speak to each other. Their relationships are predicated on the amount of alcohol they can consume in any given time, together or by themselves or whichever. We got to go to this bar. I heard that this bar has good absinthe. I heard that this bar has good beer. They can't get along without alcohol. And of course, as we know, it doesn't take any genius, right? It doesn't take any person working in NASA or anything to understand that alcohol is horrible for the body, full stop, right? We know this, right? It's very easy to deduce this. Alcohol ultimately is toxic. When you are drunk off alcohol, drunk, remember, is a colloquial pushed in this modern world by the various companies that sell alcohol, that distribute and produce alcohol, in order to make alcohol much more acceptable, right? To make it much more accepting. But in reality, when you are drunk, you are intoxicated. Intoxicated, the word alone has the word toxic, right? Which is, you could guess, toxic and poisonous, venomous for the body. Not really venomous, but alcohol, consuming it in long periods of time is akin to sort of getting bitten by a venomous snake. Alcohol is horrible. Drugs are horrible for the body. We're not even gonna get into drugs. We have various drugs like ecstasy, Molly, shrooms, all these various pills, most of them by which are synthetic. They don't grow naturally in the planet. That doesn't even mean if that's some indicator that they're good for you. But people take these synthetic man-made drugs and rip apart, what's going on? That rip apart their brains, they rip apart their thinking faculties, their areas for memory, their areas for processing, all of that stuff. They take these things, they take these drugs, they drink, and they feel as if they've achieved some sort of happiness. But we all, listen, men on this channel, people on this channel, men specifically that practice semen retention, we know that happiness that's received through drinking, happiness that's received through taking drugs, is not real happiness. In fact, it's temporary, and we know that it makes the individuals volatile, right? Volatile meaning much more prone to aggression, much more prone to anger, much more prone to mood swings. I'm happy when I'm taking the drugs. When I'm not taking the drugs, I'm sad. What needs to be accepted, what needs to be understood is that these drugs, these alcohol, no matter how sophisticated, no matter how sustainable they're creating these drugs, whatever the ways are, they are pitfalls of this modern society. You cannot function as a proper moral human being if you are ingesting these products. Alcohol, drugs, we know this. It doesn't matter if that's some sort of social fabric or it's woven into the way that human beings interact with each other all over the world. It doesn't matter. These are traditions that need to be done away with in the new world, in the world where celibacy is king, where the control of the sexual urge and the obtaining of pleasure, sexual pleasure, is mitigated, right? And regulated, not by some sort of government, some third party, but by ourselves, because we've obtained this control. In the new world, alcohol should not be permitted. Drugs should not be permitted. I don't believe in marijuana. I don't. Once upon a time, listen, some of the people used to partake in these activities, right? We used to drink, we used to take drugs, we used to smoke, but it brought me nothing. It brought me no closer to any true understanding, and it brought me very, very far from true happiness. The individuals of this world, they don't know much, really. They just think, okay, if I drink and this person drinks too and we're enjoying ourselves, it's good, right? It doesn't really matter. There's no consequence. There's no penalty of any sort. Not understanding that there is a destruction of the body. There's an erosion of the thinking faculty, of which contains mental energy that is finite. The mental energy to deal with individuals, to deal with what happens in life, to sort of process the traditional platitudes that we are told by our parents, by our mentors, by our teachers. The average person runs their 9-to-5 jobs, right? They wake up early, they drink an excessive amount of coffee with an excessive amount of dairy, an excessive amount of sugar. They go to work, right? And then they talk to people about very, very cyclical basis conversations whilst that other person consumes the same type of product. They go on work. They're not thinking. They do the same cyclical, very, very remedial, rudimentary activities. They finish work. They drink alcohol, probably. In England, this is a thing. In Europe, during lunch, they go drink alcohol. After their work, their shift, they go drink alcohol. 5 o'clock in central London in King's Cross. Walk around that area and tell me that I'm not right. People consume alcohol so normally and so regularly, it's actually astounding, right? This is the society that we live in. Based on the profile that I just elucidated for you guys just earlier, that individual that is caught by their lives, right? The general motions of their lives, the general actions of their lives. They see alcohol as some sort of escape. It's catharsis for their mundane, very droll, simple existence without the use of the creative faculty, only achieved through celibacy, only achieved through retention of, semen retention. But there is not even a want of understanding of this information. Rather, we have to keep allowing the idols, the false idols of this world, the various singers and politicians that sort of blind us with any pseudo-optimistic ideas of the future of this world, right? They blind us with these things, they blind us with these creative acts, and they sort of keep us in this cycle of consistently consuming this behavior, consuming alcohol, consuming drugs, destroying our body, and destroying that very, very powerful faculty that was little developed but sort of introduced when we were in kindergarten, and that is critical thinking. That's a topic for another video, right? But my ending statement, my closing statement about this pitfall of the modern world is this: the physical reality, right? They love to sort of push on individuals what catharsis is. You need a release. Stress is achieved due to not being they don't even break it down like that. Stress is basically developed in the body due to doing your 9-to-5s, having families because your forefathers had families, and them before them had families, and people around you. That cool kid that used to bully you in school has a family now, and that's cool. I need to join in the world. I need to join in the levels and the processes of the world. We go into these things seldom prepared, and then stress builds up, and it's akin to something physical. It's akin to like some sort of heavy weight, and in order to release this weight, we find the solace, right? The comfortable cold side of the pillow, labeled MDMA, labeled beer, labeled tequila, all these silly drinks that are meant to destroy you inside, that are meant to erode your thinking faculty, your creative thinking faculty, and any sort of critical thinking that you would sort of apply to the various vicissitudes and platitudes that you've been told about this modern world. What is Sombre del Piso's advice, right? Am I sort of imprisoned by the same thing, but sort of shaming you guys because you don't actually have a peer in my life? Absolutely not, you freaks. I have been sober for 8 years. Not even one drop of alcohol entered my body. No marijuana, no drugs. I wasn't interested in these kind of things because I know that they're not the ways to enlightenment. Buddha never did that. Krishna and his various incarnations were never interested in taking drugs and taking alcohol. Rather, they were interested in spreading creativity through their dance, through their speeches, through their ways of being, to inspire the creative faculties in the various individuals that are also blind in this world due to the consumption of alcohol and the consumption of synthetic drugs. Of course, that's not the sole culprit for this devolved state of the modern world, but it's definitely two pitfalls of the modern world.